Good evening, everyone. Welcome to D Square Talks or Nerd Rages. We are 2 days away from Avengers Endgame being released, so I hope everyone is excited as I am. It's been 22 films, over 10 years. Can still remember the excitement I had when it came to the Iron Man film, the Thor film, the Captain America film. Those are really the big three that started everything. And then that first Avengers movie that is still really one of the top superhero movies to ever be made. I can just still remember the feeling of, oh my God, when at the end of that movie, you see Thanos. They didn't say, boy, here's Thanos. All you saw was him just kind of turn back. You saw the purple skin, the grooves on his chin. You knew who it was. And I couldn't believe it. And what's even better was that he wasn't the villain in the very next movie. He wasn't even the villain in the very next Avengers movie. Obviously, as you all know, we got Age of Ultron, which I don't care what anyone says, it is a cool movie. I can understand how some people didn't like the portrayal of Ultron. I thought it was cool. And we got Infinity War, which, as a comic book reader, I had a pretty good idea what was going to happen. The movie certainly did not follow the comic book version to a T, but you were pretty sure at the end of the day, there would be that infamous snap. And certainly we got that in Avengers Infinity War. And we saw half of everybody in the universe just crumble into dust. And it was really surprising on what characters actually got caught up in that. Really, the two that stand out to me and is going to be Black Panther. He had really just had his solo movie come out, and it was very popular. I've mentioned on this channel before, it's my goddaughter's favorite Marvel character, and that's even after seeing Miss Marvel. We saw Spider-Man go up into dust, which, we knew, wow, that what a popular character. He's got other movies slated. So, certainly, we can come to the conclusion that we are at least getting some of those characters, if not all of those characters, back, notwithstanding Loki and other characters that, straight got killed. So I'm excited. I haven't seen any spoiler reviews. They just lifted the review embargo about 6.5 hours ago here on the East Coast. I, unfortunately, did not get the privilege of seeing an advanced screening or anything here, so, I'm still fresh, haven't seen it. So, I'm going to definitely do some predictions here, what I think may happen. This is all conjecture, but if you completely don't want to be spoiled, I do have to let you know. I'm going to make some predictions here, but I really have no reason to believe that they're going to be 100% true. So, just so everybody is aware of that. Looking at the toys and the posters and the trailers and everything, I do want to say that there was some potential for nerd rage here, and let me tell you why. And it's those matching suits. It has really, really got me bothered. Now, I understand that they are probably suits that they are wearing specifically to go into the quantum realm. which you may or may not be familiar with. That's not been the exact explanation. The explanation is they're a way to signify their unity after Civil War. They're here to, put this movie on its own pedestal and not just, they want to differentiate the Endgame movie from the Infinity War movie. They don't want it to be perceived as Infinity War 2. So that's been the official explanation that we've gotten. I'm hoping it's the whole quantum realm thing, or else it's really gonna remind me of the X-Men bullshit, leather black suits. It's a complete deviation from the source material. All the Avengers wear different costumes. Up until this point, they've done that in the movies even, which, makes it really easy to tell who's doing what in these, advanced action scenes, these, crazy fight scenes. You know who is who. You don't have to sit there and think about it. You don't have to pause it. It's really easy to tell who's doing what. And so these suits really... They better be the whole quantum realm, time travel, survival. There better be another reason beyond, we want to show their unity and we want to differentiate this movie from Infinity War. That's really going to... might even spoil it for me. I just really dislike the fact that it's a deviation from the comics. I hate the whole, everyone's got the same super suit. That's just that's not what I like. I'm partial to the source material, and I understand it. They do need to deviate from, every now and then there's got to be some deviation because the way it was done in the comics is either outdated or it's just not going to work in film. I get that. But there's no reason to change these costumes unless A, it's a quantum realm thing, which it better frickin' be. Or B, they're going to do it because it's easy to throw the movie together like that when they're doing CGI and whatnot. I've seen mangas do this. There was a portion in time where if you read the Naruto manga, they all wore these white long cloaks, and it was only because the manga, artist really wanted a break and save some resources when it came to drawing all these different characters. So that could be the reason for this. And it better frickin' not be. And then there's the next reason, which could just be this is a way for them to release some more toys and sell a different version of a character that is already out there. I will accept the first answer there, which is, hey, we need to go to this quantum realm. We need to wear the same type of suit that Hank Pym did. We need, okay, I'm with you there. I still think you should have left some variation, but I will understand. What I don't understand is why is Iron Man and War Machine have to wear this stuff? They're already encased in a suit of armor. There's already nanotechnology, so I just don't see why they would need to do it. But, so there we go. That's really one of the things that could potentially anger me about this movie, and that's if there's really no real good reason for them all to wear these new Avengers suits. It's not from the comics, it doesn't pay homage to the comics, and it isn't even with the continuity of the movie universe. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that those suits are so that they can go to the quantum realm, do some sort of time travel in order to get the Infinity Gauntlet away from Thanos. I think they're actually going to intervene when they almost had it off. That would be the perfect time because the gems are all in the gauntlet. They almost had it off of Thanos. All they have to do is stop Peter Quill and assist Iron Man and Spider-Man in getting that off, and boom, they'll have an Infinity Gauntlet with all the Infinity Gems, and they'll be able to reverse everything. That is my prediction. That's the way I see that going. Other predictions I have, I think that Iron Man and Captain America are either both going to die or retire in some way, shape, or form. I think they're going to go off for a while. Chris Evans, his contracts are basically up. So is Robert Downey Jr.'s. From what I understand, Thor, Chris Hemsworth enjoys the character. Haven't heard much about Mark Ruffalo, but I definitely think that after this movie, we're going to see a brand new, overhauled team of Avengers. And I'd like to see Ant-Man and the Wasp be in that team, seeing as they are part of the original OG Avengers in the comics. I'm really disappointed that we're on our 4th Avengers film and they're not Avengers yet. That's kind of a sticking point with me. It's not too huge though, but again, they're original Avengers. But hey, what can I say? In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they pegged Captain America as the first Avengers, and in the comic book, he was not actually a part of the original team-up. So, I can't exactly be a stickler for precedence there. Once Endgame is all said and done, I definitely think we're going to have to go through some emotional moments, particularly with long-standing characters that are either going to die or disappear. They may come back. I mean, in comic books, death is certainly not permanent. And with the time travel element, I mean, who knows? But I know that the actors themselves might go on to other things. I wouldn't. I hope they don't. Robert Downey Jr. is basically the linchpin of this whole universe. He's the one that all sucked us in with his awesome betrayal of Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie. Chris Evans did a great job of being an innocent, pure, righteous Captain America. Chris Hemsworth does an awesome Thor. Mark Ruffalo, I think he's better than the other Hulks. So, I mean, just really great. Cool stuff. I cannot wait. And a couple of days when I go see this movie, I'll definitely be doing a review. I may even have a special guest with me doing that review. And I hope to have that out in the weekend or at least early next week. And as always, I'll do a spoiler review and then, or a non-spoiler review, and then I will do a spoiler review. Lance is there. Unfortunately, I only understand a little bit of Spanish there, buddy. I do apologize. So if you're able to put your chat there in English, I'll be happy to talk with you there. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know Spanish. So, however, moving along, who's going to be the next big villain, right? Because they're going hard with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, there's only so many characters that can upstage that, which is why it is really cool that it took us so long, to get to this point, because Thanos really is a major villain. So I'm glad to see they just didn't throw him in a movie. He's a villain that they have been building up to for years and years, movies and movies, and here we are. This conclusion is going to be awesome. But what do I think is going to be next? Well, when it comes to upstaging Thanos, there's really can only be a couple of people. Okay, Kang the Conqueror would be a good choice, but I can see them not going there, and they probably won't go there because he's a time traveler. He literally rules multiple realities. He is Franklin Richards, Reed Richards' son. They haven't even introduced a Fantastic Four in the MCU yet, so for them to introduce Kang the Conqueror, which is actually the son of Mr. Fantastic, it's getting way too complicated, right then and there. So he could definitely be a step up from Thanos, to be sure, but I definitely think that's just going to be too complicated to pull off right now. I'm thinking Galactus. I'm thinking as one of the end credit scenes of this movie, we're going to see this huge shadow cast over the Earth, and it's going to be, the bucket helmet and the protruding, things coming out of the helmet. We're going to see that, and we're going to know, at least all the comic book people will know instantly who that is. And that's going to be a nice thing, because as I mentioned in the first Avengers, we saw Thanos. They never explained who it was Thanos. all the comic book readers knew who it was. This is another chance to introduce the next big baddie. And yeah, you'll have half of the people know exactly who that is, and the other half of the people aren't going to have any clue, just like they did with Thanos. And I think it makes sense here because the Fox and Disney merger did go down. They do have access to the Fantastic Four, so I could definitely see in the next phase them introducing the Fantastic Four. So the next Avengers movie, maybe they introduce the Fantastic Four, they take down the Super Skrull or something, and then the next Avengers movie after that, we have the Avengers and the Fantastic Four working together to maybe bring down the Silver Surfer. He comes down as the Herald of Galactus, and the Avengers have to take care of that. And then finally we end the trilogy with facing Galactus himself. Galactus, if you don't know, is this huge, almost godlike thing that eats planets. He doesn't exactly sit down and eat the planets. He uses this big machine to suck up all the energy. But he would definitely be a great world threat for the next Avengers to have to deal with. Upstages Thanos a little bit and make sense with the Fantastic Four now being in the fray. No, I have not. I have not seen Endgame yet. I'm going to see it here in a couple days. So all my predictions are purely conjecture. Purely conjecture from what I know from the comics or what we see going on in the MCU. So I'm not giving any official spoilers away because I don't know yet. But I will definitely have a review. So please like and subscribe. Hit your notification and you'll know when that review is out. But there we go. I think that this is going to usher us into the next age where we see the Fantastic Four and we possibly have to deal with Galactus. I think that's where they're going to go. I think that's the logical next step. And then maybe after we've dealt with Galactus, then maybe we can learn about Franklin Richards and maybe get some Kang the Conqueror. But it also could be Ultron. Ultron is a very, very resilient villain in the comics. So I know he was defeated in an Avengers movie already. And because he was already defeated in a movie, that's why I don't think it will be. But it definitely could be. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to move on here to our next subject. Unless there's any other questions in the chat, I'd be happy to address those. Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 2. We can kind of go through it. I got some notes here on my phone, so forgive me for not looking at the camera. Okay, so overall, it was a good episode, as most Game of Thrones episodes are. No fight scenes again, so we've basically spent 2 episodes in Winterfell, which is nice because a lot of characters that haven't seen each other for a while, or a lot of characters that you hope would meet, are all in Winterfell. It's the day before the battle. So it's just a really cool episode where we get to kind of deal with all that and see some final resolutions, some reunions, and other things. So obviously we start off with the trial of Jaime Lannister. Our last episode ended with him arriving in Winterfell and making eye contact with the Three-Eyed Raven. This episode starts, boom, right where they're having the trial. Daenerys is, telling her stories of what her brother used to tell her about the Kingslayer. Sansa even, objects to him being there and states that he can't be trusted. And thanks to good old Brienne, who, does owe a lot to Jaime, she vouches for him. And so they throw it over to Jon Snow. And he's like, hey, we're going to need every soldier that we can get, so he's okay with me. So with a sigh of relief, they're going to let Jaime Lannister fight for Winterfell and fight the army of the dead, was looking a little bit hairy there. I was like, oh boy, the queen of dragons or the mother of dragons is going to let loose here, but thankfully she does not. What I find interesting about this particular scene, and I haven't heard anybody mention this, is the fact that Jaime Lannister has Widow's Wail, and Brienne has Oathkeeper that she got from Jaime Lannister. Those two swords, of course, you may remember from earlier seasons, were actually made from one larger Valyrian sword named Ice, which was Ned Stark's. Tywin Lannister took it from him, obviously, after he was executed, melted it down, and made two smaller swords. One he gave to Jaime, the other he gave to Joffrey. Jaime gave his to Brienne, and she called it Oathkeeper. And then he ended up getting Joffrey's sword, Widowmaker, after Joffrey was assassinated. I just found that interesting. I wonder if any characters even understand that, or any of the Stark children know that basically their father's old sword is right there. It is just now two swords, Oathkeeper and Widowmaker. Just interesting stuff. All right. Then after that, we see that Daenerys, berates Tyrion for a little bit for all the mistakes he's making. Kind of saw that coming. Tyrion thinks that either Jorah or Varys will be the next hand. We get to see a scene between Arya and Gendry. She wanted him to make a special weapon. He hasn't done it yet, and they talk about the fact that he's fought whites already, and she's trying to get some intel from him, and he basically says, they're like death. Which is funny because, of course, Arya, used to train with somebody that worshipped the god of death, and so she, displays that that's not going to scare her. She picks up like 3 dragon glass daggers and throws them at the same spot. There's even a guy is not focused on in the back, but you can see him, and she throws the first one, and he kind of looks back, and then she throws the second one, and he gets up and runs. You have to pay attention because he's not in focus, but he's definitely there. So that was kind of funny. Then we have Bran and Jaime talking, and Jaime's surprised to learn that Bran, now the three-eyed raven, isn't upset about the events, and didn't tell everybody that Jaime was the one that pushed him down. He learns that he's not holding any vitriol, and doesn't want to tell anybody because if they did, they'd kill him. So interesting exchange there. Then we see, this is a lot of Jaime Lannister in this episode, because then the next scene we see, he finds Brienne out in the battlefield preparing, and we learn that she's the commander of the left flank, and he wants to join her. He wants to be under her command, and she doesn't know how to take this because he's not insulting her, and she's just not used to that. So really cool exchange there. What else we got here? So, Tyrion and Jaime have a nice reunion where they, talk about how things have gone since they last met. And Tyrion does his line of thinking he was going to grow old in his bed, a woman around his cock or something like that. So that was funny. Let's see. Oh, then we have that interesting conversation between Daenerys and Sansa. You can see where Daenerys is kind of trying to, make peace with her, kind of develop some sort of relationship with her, and it seems to be making pretty good progress. They're bonding over Jon a little bit. Sansa reveals that she kind of thinks that Jon is being manipulated, and then Daenerys says, hey, wait a minute. I came to Westeros, to sit on the Iron Throne, and now here I am in Winterfell, and I'm going to fight against the dead. So who's manipulating who? Which is a good point. But they have some contention there when it comes to talking about what's going to happen to the North once she is in the Iron Throne. So, and that's not something that either one of them is letting go. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops. Although it's going to develop quick because we've only got 4 more episodes. Although they are longer episodes. So interesting there. What else we have here? Oh yeah, that cool like Night Watches reunion where Jon Snow, sees the other Night Watch, who's now the Lord Commander, and Sam's there as well. Tormund interrupts, and Barrack's there. Just really, really cool to see all those characters come together because obviously, as you all know, in the earlier seasons, the Crows, which are the Night Watch, and the Wildlings and Tormund, they were all fighting. They were all enemies, and now here everybody's together fighting for Winterfell. So good stuff there. And then you actually get to see just the 3 former Night's Watch: Jon Snow, Sam, and I can't remember that other guy. He reminds me of the wrestler called Neville. Really cool moment where they're talking, kind of making fun of Sam. Sam's the ladies' man now, and he's fought and killed whites, and boy, the world's come to Sam being a tough guy and a ladies' man, then they're screwed. So a little harsh, I'd say, but I get it. It was amusing. What else we got here? They start putting together the plan as far as how they're going to defend against the Night King and the White Walkers and the army of the Whites. They want to take the 3-eyed raven down to the crypts, but he says, no. We're not going to do that. Because what Jon Snow basically tells everybody is they're not going to be able to beat the army of the dead because of their numbers. So their best play is to kill the Night King, because once he goes down, they all go down. And that's why Bran's not going to go down in the keep, because he says the Night King is here for me. He wants to kill me because he wants to destroy every memory of this civilization for the new world that he wants to build. So I'm going to go, they're going to use him as bait, basically. He's going to have some armed guards. Of course, Theon Greyjoy is there, and I didn't mention about that, but he does come now that he's saved Yara, and Sansa, accepts him in with open arms. And he has this really cool line of, hey, I took Winterfell from you, and he's talking to Bran, so now let me defend it for you. So that was a cool moment as well. So they have their battle plan. They're going to use Bran as bait. Missandei meets some racist people around Winterfell, so I'm sure it's just mistrust, but I feel bad for the characters because obviously they look a little bit different from everyone else, and they're experiencing a little bit of prejudice there, which isn't good for anybody. Let's see here. Oh, yes, and then we get that cool scene where it's, Tyrion, Jaime Lannister, they're around the hearth, drinking, of course. Then Brienne and Podrick come and join them, and then you've got Tormund that comes. So, really, really cool couple of scenes there with all those characters around the hearth talking about, various things, commenting how, boy, at one point they were basically all enemies of the Starks, and now here they all together defending Winterfell. But really the best moment of this episode, and, its name, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, is when Jaime knights Brienne, which, never happened before because the rules of this world are that a woman can never be knighted. But they're going to buck tradition there, and Jaime knights her, and just a really cool scene. He announces that she is a knight, of the Seven Realms, hence the name of the episode. Really cool scene. I mean, you get to see her smile, and she's such a deserving character. There's only so many good characters in this world of Westeros, and she's definitely one of them. I just love those scenes in movies and films where you see somebody smile because they realize they've done it. They realize they've reached their potential or went beyond what they thought was possible. So we just had one of those moments. I always love those moments. Another one I can think of real quick is in X-Men First Class, where Professor X has got on Cerebro and he's seeing all the mutants, and just that look on his face, like, whoa, hey, I love those parts. So really uplifting and really a cool moment for one of my favorite characters and an actual good character in this really crappy world. So I was really happy to see that. Really, really good moment. Obviously, Gendry and Arya have a bit more conversation that leads to some sex. It's kind of weird. We've seen Arya as a little girl. I get it, so I got nothing against it, but it was just kind of creepy scene to me. Sam gives his family's Valyrian sword to Jorah in honor of his father. So, although he doesn't accept Longclaw from Jon Snow, he does get his own Valyrian sword, which is awesome. And then we finally see where Dany follows Jon Snow down to the crypts. He's standing in front of his mother/aunt's tomb, and that's where he breaks the news to Daenerys of who he is. And she's like super bitchy about it and does not react well whatsoever. So I don't have a good feeling about that. And this book does, or the movie does come from books called A Tale of Ice and Fire or what have you. So I don't know. There's looking like there's going to be some conflict there. And I think Arya is actually going to be the one that kills Daenerys. I think Daenerys is going to get killed because of her attitude and her not accepting the fact that Jon Snow is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. And we've seen we're in episode 1 where Arya has said she is going to defend her family. I'm sure she still considers Jon Snow her family. So yeah, look out for that. That's a big prediction I have here. And then all that jazz. Jon Snow and Daenerys' conversation, which I really wanted to hear the end of, gets interrupted by some horns because the army of the dead is there. We don't see the Night King. We don't see the undead dragon. So who knows what's going on there? He could have a completely different target. But we definitely know that next episode isn't going to be just a bunch of people chilling in Winterfell and talking and reminiscing and drinking. The Battle of Winterfell is nigh. And I'm excited. Same week as Endgame, no less. It's going to be an exciting weekend. I can't wait. It's a good time to be a nerd. Good time to be a nerd. All right, well, that's all the subjects that I'm going to cover today in this episode. I don't see any more comments, so, if you want to chat about something else, I'm definitely here. I'm all ears. I would love to go ahead and connect with you. But it looks like we're good to go. So thank you, everyone that joined the live stream, and thank you for those that are going to watch this after it's posted to my channel. I hope you enjoy it. I definitely would love some feedback. As always, please give me a like. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this sort of content, video games, comic books, just nerd culture in general. And make sure you hit that notification button. That way you never miss one of my videos. You can also tweet at me at dsquare72 on Twitter. And we can also converse and interact on there. Oh, hey, you made it. Better late than never, Alfredo. Better late than never. You can catch me. You can catch me on the channel there. I saw. Yeah. I talked about Endgame. I did talk about Endgame, and so I had some predictions though. If you're interested, I think that we're definitely going to see some characters that aren't going to be showing back up again, at least for a little while. Particularly when it comes to Captain America and Iron Man, we know that their contracts are up as actors. So I did predict that we're going to see them kind of exit stage left somehow, whether it be through death or their character just kind of retiring. But hey, in comic books, death is never permanent. Death is never certain. So, we can go through that emotion of them dying, and the character doesn't have to truly be gone. Um, I think that Captain America will definitely pass on the mantle to either Bucky Barnes or Sam Wilson, because Bucky Barnes has been Captain America before, and just recently, so has the Falcon. So the next Avengers team, which I think is going to be made up of basically an all new team, I think you're going to see Captain America in some way, shape, or form. And again, that's either going to be through the Winter Soldier or through Falcon. And then I was kind of talking about, who's the next big bad villain. I think maybe it was, Kang the Conqueror would be good, but Kang the Conqueror, there's time travel, he's conquered many realities. Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of raging about those suits a little bit, those matching suits. I was saying, like, I don't like those suits. And officially, we've been told they have those suits because they want to differentiate this movie from Infinity War, and they want to show that the Avengers are one solitude team. Since Civil War, they better be so they can go into the quantum realm and do some of that time travel, or else I'm really going to be pissed off. The Avengers never have had matching suits, not in the comics, not even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so really, really going to make me mad if those suits don't have some other reason that they need to be worn, because this isn't X-Men, this is Avengers, they all look different. I think in the end credits scene, though, what we're going to see, like I said, I don't think we're going to see Kang the Conqueror, because that's a whole time travel thing. He's conquered multiple realities and timelines. He's Franklin Richard, which is Reed Richards' son, and we haven't even had the Fantastic Four introduced yet. So I don't think that Kang the Conqueror is going to be the next big villain, but I do think that at the end credits, we're going to see a shadow of Galactus. I think that's a great next step. We can introduce the Fantastic Four. We can introduce Silver Surfer now. And, so I think it's time. I think it's time to have Galactus be the next big villain. I hope he looks exactly like he does in the comics, but admittedly, I know that is a little bit goofy. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like those suits whatsoever, so they better have a good reason for needing them. What's got me scared, though, is Iron Man and War Machine are wearing those same suits, and there's just no reason for them to do that. So, but yeah, end credits, man. I think we're going to see Galactus. I was thinking that there would not be end credits. I was thinking they might go that direction. That way, they're boom, hard stop. Hard stop. But I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think any Marvel movies ever not had end credits. I think they would do it to kind of at least hint at the next villain. But you know what? It does make total sense that there wouldn't be any end credits, because this is Endgame. This is end of a storyline that's literally been almost a decade in the making, or really more than a decade in the making if you're counting Iron Man. So I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't any end credits, but I'll still stay. I'll still stay, because that could just be something that people are using to throw us off. But it makes sense either way. I'm going to go see it Friday, hopefully. And hopefully I'll have my review. I could even have a special guest. Also, I will mention, for those of you that watch this video, that on this Saturday, I actually will be talking about Avengers Endgame on the radio, 92.3 The Fan. It's a sports radio, and it's a sports talk show, but I know the host, and he wants to talk about some Endgame stuff. on his show Saturday morning from 8 to 2 p.m. Eastern. Alright, I'm not sure what that's all about there. Learn everything. Okay. Yeah, you joined a little late there, Learn Everything. I'm sorry you have to watch unless you had some questions or so. I'm always down to interact. Yeah, I saw your tickets, Alfredo. Nice. I haven't ordered mine yet, so hopefully I don't get shut out. I know I'll see it this weekend, though. But yeah, Friday after work. It's going to be a good weekend. We're going to see Endgame. We're going to see the next Game of Thrones, the Battle of Winterfell. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully get to see a lot of whites be killed. See what happens with their battle plans. So, but yeah, Learn Everything. Someone's going to die, and I think if I had to pick who's going to die, I'm going to pick that it's going to be Captain America. It's going to be I see Tony Stark kind of retiring, and then maybe coming back. Maybe that's just me not being able to imagine the MCU without Robert Downey Jr. I don't know. But from what I understand, I haven't seen a spoiler review or a full-on review, but I have heard that we're going to be crying. We're going to be crying. I don't know about that, but it sounds like it's going to be a tearjerker. Yeah, busy weekend. Busy weekend for us nerds. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it, though. It's a good time to be in the comic books. All sorts of nerdy stuff is going to happen, is going to continue happening. And hey, in 5 years or so, then we're going to get the X-Men. Now, unfortunately, I'm a big X-Men fan, which isn't unfortunate. But what is unfortunate is the fact that it's been pretty much confirmed we're not going to see them for the next 5 years. So, but hey, that's okay. Well, something new to get excited about. Okay. Yeah, that's I actually don't want her to die. I said this in other videos. What I want them to do with her is I want them to show us Rogue taking her powers. We got to see that, because I don't like her character either, and that's got nothing to do with the movie. I haven't even seen Captain Marvel the movie. I just wasn't that interested in it. I'm not interested in Brie Larson's attitude, so whatever. Everything I wanted to learn from that movie, you got off YouTube. But even in the comic, Carol Danvers is just, she's just a jerk. I just don't like her. Just don't like her at all. The Civil War II storyline really painted her in a really stupid light. The first Civil War event, it was kind of difficult to choose sides. But in Civil War II, you were with Tony Stark all the way, because Carol Danvers was just being just ridiculous. But hey, she's probably going to be a big hero in Endgame, and hey, it would be cool to see that. But they better pay homage to the original Avengers team. They better not just have her come in and be the Deus Ex Machina that is the reason they win. Like that, the original OG Avengers need to be the big part there. They need to be the reason that everything gets set right again. And I think they will. But I think Captain Marvel will definitely be a big help. Alright, well, again, thank you everyone that joined me in the live stream, and anyone that's watching this video after it's been posted. We're going to go ahead and end it there right now, and I'll just hopefully see you very soon. I'm going to have a Uncanny X-Men, another comic review coming out here soon, so watch for that. Again, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Uncanny X-Men comic reviews. I do video game reviews. I'm going to be working on a Dragon Quest XI review here very shortly. I just finished that game last weekend. I sometimes do playthroughs, but I do have a Twitch for that mostly. So we're just going to be diving into some more Game of Thrones, some Avengers stuff, and just hope to see you all around. You guys have a good night. Peace.